ATP, adenosine triphosphate, is the energy molecule that keeps us alive. ATP fuels our muscles. It's made by burning glucose or fat. The 100-meter sprint is the ultimate test of human speed. The event lasts less than 10 seconds, time enough for a well-trained runner to call on a surge of high-energy ATP. For 4 precious seconds, his body accelerates at the maximum, consuming its emergency ATP supply. Now, peak performance is done. For the last 40 meters, the runner is actually slowing down. Then, with the race over, the body can stop. We have primal strength we do not discover unless our lives depend on it. And our bodies hide an even more amazing ability: the strength to move hundreds of muscles in harmony. Simply walking involves the coordination of 200 muscles. Steering a car, 100. And it takes 70 muscles just to lift a cup of coffee.
It's really a very simple mechanism in that we send nervous impulses through the nervous system to the muscles, and if it's all worked together very tightly in a very organized, synchronized pattern, we can perform these skills.
Not all muscles have the same number of controlling nerves. The body's biggest muscles in our legs take orders from 500 nerves. These muscles have the most pulling power. Yet the real magic is not how we control big muscles, but how we control the small ones. 4,000 nerves control the muscles in our body's most complex and useful instruments, the hands. Each hand has 27 bones, 30 individual muscles, and more than 1,600 kilometers of nerve fibers and blood vessels. Coordinating all this takes a lot of brain power. Merely controlling our hands takes up almost half the movement coordinating centers of our brain. A set of connections between brain cells governs every action. But we are not born with these connections. We have to learn them. Each time a football player kicks a ball, his brain records and stores his muscle strength and timing, making each successive attempt easier. Records and stores his muscle strength and timing. Soon, without thinking, signals fly down to the muscles at more than 100 meters per second. And then the move becomes automatic. This training continues off the pitch, overnight.
Coach always tells us to go to rest, go to sleep early and everything, because if we don't sleep, it'll affect us in our game. We won't want to play or anything like that.
Sleep brings Marco Pulido more than just rest. While he sleeps, the skills he's been practicing all day are reinforced. For all of us, the brain's activity while dreaming could be as important in strengthening our skills as when we're awake and practicing. On average, we each spend 6 years of our lives dreaming. And while we dream, we're consolidating control of our muscles. To keep our muscles working over sustained periods requires another strength, a strength we're barely aware of. This hidden strength can keep us going for hours of non-stop action. Imagine swimming the English Channel. Twice as many people have climbed Everest as have made this epic swim. 34 grueling kilometers in bone-chilling water. As he attempts the challenge, Paul Hopfensberger will rely on strength from stored food.
Steaks, pastas, bananas, lots of bananas, and everything. To, like the bananas, very good for slow energy release when you're swimming and what have you. So that's the sort of thing I've been eating and training on.
Paul has gained 7 kilos, and it's not muscle. He's about to learn that when it comes to pushing towards new limits, fat is now his body's friend. His fat cells have grown, thickening Paul's arms, chest and belly. It's more athletic than it sounds, or looks. Our early ancestors probably looked like this. For them, fat was a vital way of storing energy.
A competitive swimmer is very much like ancient man in being constantly active and balancing their food intake with a tremendous amount of physical activity as ancient man hunted for food. So if we look at a swimmer, you'd be surprised to find that most of the fuel that they're using is really fat, both fat from the diet and fat that's stored.
As Paul heads into the freezing water, his success will now depend on how he manages his body's reserves. To start with, carbohydrates from Paul's last meal, stored in the liver and muscles, are quickly converted to glucose and then combined with oxygen to power him forward. Paul's muscles are now burning 3,000 calories an hour, the same number of calories in 3 large hamburgers. But after 5 kilometers, the easy access glucose is running out. Paul is facing a fuel crisis. It's a critical point many athletes know as, like runners, he has to switch fuel supplies and start consuming his own fat. Paul's extra fat layers add 60,000 calories to his fuel tank. That's 10 times the energy of the glucose his liver and muscles had when he dived in. But converting fat to fuel demands extra oxygen, straining his lungs. He's sucking in 90 liters of air a minute, absorbed through tubes narrower than a human hair, and across tiny membranes, whose total surface area is equal to half a tennis court. This burst powers Paul through 19 kilometers during the first 6 hours, but that's only just over halfway across the channel. To succeed, he'll need to keep pumping fuel to his muscles almost until nightfall. The fact is, all our bodies are engineered like Paul's. It's just that he's tuned his up through practice. Paul's training has focused on improving his heart's performance.
The average person has a 5-liter cardiac output. Well, someone who's trained would put out about 35 liters of blood out of the heart, which that much more blood delivers that much more oxygen. You can make that much more energy and continue without fatigue.
Each minute, Paul's heart pumps 7 times more blood than normal, and he's been doing that for 12 hours. It's propelled him 29 kilometers across the channel, with the French coast now just 5 kilometers away. This swim has cost Paul over 6 kilograms of body fat. In a day, he's used more calories than most of us use in a week. Yet we are all designed to store and expend huge amounts of energy at this rate. Despite fatigue, Paul keeps his heart and muscles going for the final push. Challenges like this are within the grasp of all of us, because our ancient ancestors, struggling to survive, he's made stored fat as